This happened a few years ago, after the COVID pandemic began. I was working from home while my wife was on site in the HR department of a local grocery chain. My daughter, who was 7 at the time, had finished her online classes and started playing upstairs. I could hear her from my desk in the living room. Everything seemed normal. In the middle of work, while I was writing a report, I heard my daughter talking. That wasn't strange until I heard another voice responding to her. It was a man's voice, faint but clear. I stayed frozen, trying to convince myself I was imagining things. Maybe it was from a Zoom meeting, but I was almost certain the voice came from upstairs. I quickly went upstairs to her room. I knocked, and she let me in. She was holding her tablet and looked completely normal. I asked, "Who were you talking to?" She replied, "I don't know." She often said that when she didn't feel like talking. I quickly searched the room. Nothing seemed unusual. I went back to work, and the rest of the day passed as if nothing had happened. That night, I had a nightmare like nothing I'd ever felt before. I dreamed that something heavy was pressing down on my chest, and I could hear whispers close to me, but I couldn't understand them. I woke up terrified. The sun was just starting to rise. I asked my wife, "Did you hear anything last night?" She shook her head and said, "No." Days went by, and everything seemed normal, until Sunday evening came. We were having dinner when our daughter looked at us and quietly asked, "What's a machete?" We both froze. We hadn't watched anything violent, and we hadn't mentioned that kind of weapon. We asked her, "Where did you hear that word?" She said, "I don't remember." After she went to sleep, I turned to my wife and said, "Something's wrong. I can't take it anymore." I told her everything. The voice I heard, the dream, the machete question, and the growing sense of unease. Suddenly, we heard a man's voice, coming from our daughter's room. I ran straight to the room and burst the door open. Our daughter was sitting on the bed, looking at me with terrified eyes. I asked her, "Who was with you?" She stayed silent, then said, "It's Lisa, my friend. She started talking to me when I'm alone." I shouted to my wife, "Call the police now." But our daughter screamed, "No, Lisa will be angry." The police arrived within minutes and searched every corner of the house. Nothing. No traces, no evidence. The next day, we left the house immediately. We no longer trusted it. We took her to a child therapist. In the first session, the therapist gently asked, "Who is Lisa?" She replied calmly, "She used to live in our house. She said her family didn't love her." Then she looked at the therapist with an innocent smile and said, "Don't worry. Lisa said she's going to visit you tonight." We thought we had gotten rid of Lisa. But around midnight, my wife woke up to the sound of a soft giggle. She entered our daughter's room and found her sitting on the bed, whispering. She asked, "Who are you talking to?" She said, "Lisa came back. She said she missed me." Since that day, our daughter has never slept alone again. We put the house up for sale and never went back. But the strange thing is, everyone who visits the house says they see a little girl looking out from the upstairs window. She smiles, then disappears.